Hello and welcome. So today we're gonna talk about a thing that I was thinking about for a while now, and I didn't know how to put it in words, and I guess I know now. I don't know, we'll see. So the main topic of this video is gonna be, well, how Star Citizen is affected by the gaming community and how it is affecting the gaming community, so the global gaming community. So I'm just gonna roll the intro and let's talk about it.
Hello, my name is Grumpy.
Alright, so first off, I gotta thank you for watching and for subscribing, and I gotta thank my patrons because they're fucking awesome. I love you guys, I really do. And if you want to become a patron, there's a link down below in the info section of the video. And yeah, let's talk about the main topic of the video. So yeah, I was thinking, and that's never good. So first off, you know that I'm an old lad. I'm 34 and I've been gaming since I was 4 because my father is a programmer. Therefore we had a PC when I was like 3, and the first game that I played I was 3 or 4, I'm not sure, he probably knows better. And the first game was like Prisoner Escape. And after that I played Prince of Persia, the first 2 games, and then I played Duke Nukem. I'm just trying to remember the games that I played. I don't know if it's like if the timeline is right, but that's basically the games that I played. The next games that I recall was like Wolfenstein and Doom, like the first 3D shooters, and then after that it was Quake. And I fucking forgot when it was. I think I was in elementary school. There was a game called Kingpin that was also a 3D shooter, and yeah, I played a bunch. Of course, I played Age of Empires and Red Alert and all of those games. And to be honest, I'm craving to get a game that's as developed as those games were back in the day. So obviously those games were pretty basic compared to the games right now, but with adding more stuff without adding to the actual gameplay mechanics or the story, you are just making the game more prone to being bugged upon release and having lots and lots of bugs. And we see that in the newer games like in Battlefield 2042, in Cyberpunk, and basically in every other game that gets released nowadays. Now, of course, one could say, well, it's not the game's fault, it's not the fault of adding a ton of stuff in the game, it's the fault of the developers not testing it out. And I will completely concur with that. But the thing is, I'm gonna say something that's gonna be, well, most of you know, but nobody wants to fucking say it. Most of the games nowadays are just cash grabs, and yeah, that's it. All of the AAA games are just cash grabs. There is nothing new developed with those games. If you look at the older games from the 90s or the 2000s or even from the 2010s, you will see that there's a lot of new mechanics getting introduced to the games, newer and newer interesting things that are completely different, that have never been seen before in a game. And when is the last time that you saw a mechanic in the game that you have never seen before? Just be honest to yourself and answer the question down in the comment section below. I honestly have no idea. The last games that I actually saw and played that were really fucking good, most of them weren't even AAA games. I'm talking about Portal 2 or Stanley's Parable, or games well, you're gonna kill me for this, but yeah, I'm gonna mention Titanfall, because it had a cool mechanic, because it was revolutionary. Well, we saw that mechanic before, but we never saw it in a PvP game, in a multiplayer game. and it was a failure because of other things, but yeah, whatever. The other game would, of course, be Fortnite. Even though I hate Fortnite, I played it like twice and I got destroyed by kids, but that game has a cool mechanic that like other games didn't have before, and it brings you something new. It brings you something that you need to be skillful at, that you got to practice, you got to be good at. It's the same thing with like platformers like Super Meat Boy or games like that. You gotta practice and be good at it if you wanna like finish the game. It's the same thing with Dark Souls. It's the same thing with like Tarkov. It's the same thing with DayZ. If you want to be good at it, you gotta practice. You need to understand the game in depth. But still, which of those games brought a new mechanic in the game? Well, you can see none. Even though I would say like maybe Portal 2 and Stanley's Parable, because like those two games have something else going for them. Yes, they are like puzzle games of sorts, but they also they are also really good adventure games, and those puzzles are done in a completely different way. And like Stanley's Parable, for example, like the whole game is a puzzle, and the whole game you're just running from the narrator. And it's so well thought out that like it's an adventure. It is an actual adventure, even though you're just running through the hallways of an office building. And yeah, just like if you didn't play it, I suggest you do. It's amazing. Or even just watch like one of the walkthroughs. But like if you do that, you're gonna miss out on like 9 or 12 endings that it has, and that game is just fucking amazing. The other ones would of course be like the Minecraft game and Space Engineers, which is basically Minecraft but like in space. And I mean, what could you say about those games? Those games were really revolutionary. We have never seen a game before, a game like Minecraft before Minecraft, right? And like Minecraft was released like 10 years ago, or even more than 10 years ago. Space Engineers was like exactly 10 years ago, I think. But compare that to like AAA games. Most of them, like Call of Duty and Battlefield, they don't even fucking have single player experience. Even if they do, they're just like, yeah, here's a few chapters, but like, yeah, you're gonna have 4 maps and a lot of DLCs. We're gonna make a lot of money off you, and you're gonna fight and you're gonna click on heads. And like clicking on heads, it becomes really old when you get older, basically. If you clicked on enough heads, you want to do something else, basically. And that's when like people got creative with their kills. That's when a guy hopped out of his plane and shot a missile or a rocket into a plane that was trying to dogfight him. That's when people started being creative, because like the game devs are not creative, so player base is gonna be creative for them, right? And speaking of creativity, we also have like the modders, and one of the best games and the best experiences that I had in games ever is with playing mods for certain types of games. So first off, I have spent a lot of time playing Battlefield 2 mod that is called Project Reality. That mod was so successful that like the mod developers made a game of that, and that game is called Squad. And that game, from my point of view, and like to be completely honest, like it has nothing to do with Project Reality, because Project Reality was better. It's not that like I love Project Reality more. No, I still play Squad. I don't play Project Reality because it looks like shit now compared to like other newer games, because that's basically like 12, 13, 14-year-old game. But dudes, like that mod had so much mechanics developed for it that it's just fucking ridiculous. And you know what? That mod was free to play, and you can download the mod with Battlefield 2 right now, and it's free to play. And like those mods like earned pretty much nothing. Yeah, they did do like Squad afterwards, but like they were modding the game and they were developing Project Reality for like 10 years. And like it was amazing, and they were doing that for like pennies. They were just passionate about it, and they were doing it, and they were changing the gaming industry like while we were playing the mod. And like the community was so small, but when like some of the YouTubers like Blue Drake 42 started, you're gonna see his footage right here, and you gotta subscribe to him because he's really good. He's also developing a game right now with his community. Anyway, like when those kind of YouTubers started promoting that game, that's when we got Squad. And that's when like the off-world industries or the gaming development company was like, or the mods, basically the guys that modded Battlefield 2, that's where they said, yeah, maybe we're ready to make a game now. And they made a game that like revolutionized gaming in that sense that like tactical games are not a niche anymore. Because like the success on Kickstarter from Squad spawned Hell Let Loose and Post-Scriptum. And I'm pretty sure that like Ready or Not would not be such a big game right now in the gaming community if there wasn't for Squad. And there wouldn't be Squad if the developers didn't do Project Reality prior to that. Like 10 years prior to that. Now, the first actual space sim or shooter or whatever you want to call it, like 3D flying simulation of a spaceship game that I played was like back in the 90s. I don't know the date when it got released, but it was a little known game that was called Descent. And I remember that I spent like at least 200 or maybe even fucking 800 hours in that game. And you gotta bear in mind that I was a kid back in the day, and I had school and I had a lot of stuff to do. I had like girls and my first love and all of that to deal with, and I was playing that game like I can't, like, it was like Star Citizen right now, to me, back in the day. And it was so revolutionary, because, like, before that, you just had, like, Doom and Quake and games like that, where you would run and, like, shoot people that were, like, basically on the even ground with you. Like, if they were above you, you couldn't even look up. At some point, they added the mouse, and they added, like, the arrow keys so you can look upwards. And that was basically it. And like Descent was basically the first game, well, the first game that I know of that like broke that wall and you could like fly through the rooms, because like, yeah, it was a space sim of sorts, but like you would still go through rooms, because it was like there you couldn't have open space back in like the 90s, right? And all those games that I mentioned from the 90s are games that changed the game. They changed how players played the games, and they made the players want more from games. So you couldn't just like give them the same old thing. You had to do something else, or something more. So like if there wasn't for Descent, Bethesda wouldn't release Echelon, one of the best games for like early 2000s. There was like a space sim, even though it was like on planets, but you had spaceships, and it was a dogfighting, arcade slash simulation game. And yeah, one could say that like Chris Roberts did Wing Commander, which was like in open space, but like that open space was actually like a cube or a big sphere where you would fight, and it was just a simulation of open space, but it actually wasn't open. It was really restricted. And like Echelon had something new, because like it had AI that didn't crash into the ground, which Star Citizen in 2022 has. Anyway, all of those games had some game-changing mechanics, and all of those games were working. They were working fine, and all of those games were released as a game, and there were no DLCs, there were no like things that you need to buy to play the rest of the game. And then demos became a thing. And then we were playing demos of like Need for Speed or games like that. They were just like proof of concept that that kind of game can be actually developed and can be playable, and yeah, just wait for it, and we're gonna do it. And there was like demos were there just to build the hype, and at some point Steam became a thing, and they started selling demos or pre-alphas as well games. And after that we had an incline of unfinished projects or products that like were funded by the community or by like players, the player community, the player base, and that like never came to fruition or never got fixed. And like Daisy is the prime example of that. And that's when like EA and bigger companies were like, yeah, well, maybe we can easily give them the same old crap every year, and it's gonna be buggy as fuck, but they're gonna play it until the next one comes out, and we're gonna fix it like midway just to like just to bring back the community. And at some point the Kickstarter campaigns were a thing, and that's when we got Star Citizen's Kickstarter. Now before I talk about Star Citizen, I just wanna like talk for a second about like the best games in the past few years. One of those games is Jedi Fallen Order. It wasn't like it didn't get an award of being the best game, but there was an outrage because like it wasn't in the award show because it was just late for that. And people were outraged, and like I didn't play the game up until like I don't know, a couple of months ago, and I played it then, and I was like, well, this ain't it. Like, this is not, like, if you played Jedi Academy back from, like, 2000s, that game was fucking amazing. If you played Red Dead Redemption, that game was fucking amazing. Like, the sequel was even better. And then you have like Jedi Fallen Order, that's just like a platformer, a 3D platformer. You have like, it's basically Prince of Persia with like Tomb Raider, but it has lightsabers, and the story is not really that good. I mean, it's not bad, but it's not like Game of the Year good. And like, that's when I noticed that most of the new games are just consumer products that are there to be played for like a couple of months, and that's it. Like, the only exception to that is Red Dead Redemption 2. And I'm not talking about the multiplayer, because I tried to play it and I didn't like it. I don't know, I heard that it's good, but I also heard that it's really trash. But like, Red Dead Redemption 2 is one of the best, if not the best, story-based games or adventures, under quotations if you want to call it that, in the past like 10 years. And you can't say that like Assassin's Creed or even GTA or anything like that can top Red Dead Redemption 2. But those kind of games like Red Dead Redemption 2 are so rare these days that like, it's a question if we are gonna have anything similar to that or like mildly better than that in the near future. And I'm not sure about that, to be honest. Like, Red Dead Redemption 2 was a finished game, and it had a exceptional story. It had really good game mechanics that weren't really like revolutionary in any sense, but they were just working, and the whole thing was just working as it should be, as a game that you play, that you paid for, and you play it and you enjoy it. You didn't need to like work around the bugs. You didn't abuse the bugs like people abuse the bug in Jedi Fallen Order, where you can fly by spamming one of the force freeze time or whatever it's called. So like, Red Dead Redemption 2 was just working, and that was it. You just need the game to work, and a good story or a good game mechanic or a few good game mechanics, and it's gonna be like the game of the fucking decade. It is not a game of the year, it is the game of a decade. Now, how does that all influence Star Citizen? Well, Star Citizen is trying to be something that like no other game was before. It's trying to be all of those games combined and then more. But for like 10 years now, or we're coming into the 11th year of development, because it started developing in 2011, and you can say whatever you want to. It's like you had a demo back in 2011, and that's it. That's the end of the story. But after all that time, we still don't have jack shit out of like all the things that were promised, which like I already talked about in a lot of videos up until now, and I'm not gonna talk about right now, but that is the honest truth. But Star Citizen has succeeded at one thing, and that thing is a completely new business model for a game, a completely new business model for a game development company. And from what I can see right now, more and more companies are trying to do the same thing, because CAG didn't like fall and they didn't crash and burn. They're doing even better right now. Okay, of course it's because of COVID and like 2020, and everybody was at home and everybody was buying spaceships and stuff like that. But still, no other company did this before CAG did. And yeah, you gotta tip your hat for that. Like, just like, kudos, guys. Like, good job. But how does that affect the gaming community? Does that mean that, like, from now on, we are just gonna get better and better games because, like, people have figured out that you can pull more money from a pre-alpha and something that resembles a product from the community and make that product a great fucking game? Well, I'm not sure about that. Like, Star Atlas and Earth 2 are the prime examples how you can scam people into giving you money for nothing and chicks for free. And Star Citizen was one of those games which, like, it was smelly. It like had a smell of a scam. But nowadays you have more and more scams with like cryptocurrencies and NFTs and all of that kind of games under quotations that don't even have a playable demo. At least Star Citizen had a playable demo. It was, and it is, a slow development. It is a heavily mismanaged product or project, and it is a cash-grabbing game. It is. It simply is. Now, people can call it a pre-alpha, people can call it an alpha. It is an alpha for like almost 11 years now. It is not a pre-alpha because they started the alpha back in 2011, so don't lie to yourself. But the truth is that, like, CAG has figured out a way to get money from the community, to raise money from pledges and ship sales and all of that, like subscriber items and gifts. Like, they grant you an opportunity to, like, once you grind, and if you play Star Citizen you would know this, if you didn't, just like bear with me, you grind to get an opportunity to spend your money and buy a ship. Of course, that's just a single ship. That's a Gladius Pirates version. It's basically the same, but it's a reskin. But you still gotta buy it. Even though you grinded for it, you still gotta buy it with real money. Yeah, you can buy like the basic option or the basic skin in the game for the in-game currency, which is fine. But like, still, there's a big like FOMO, a fear of missing out in the community, and they are just capitalizing on it. On top of that, you have subscriber items, you have skins that like should be free, but they're not free. But like, you buy a ship for like $600 and then you gotta pay for a skin for like $40 and stuff like that. So they have figured out a tactic on how to pull out an abnormal amount of money from the player community, and that's what we're probably gonna see from other game developers in the near future. And we're gonna see more and more unfinished games like Battlefield 2042, and we're gonna see Star Citizen being an unfinished game for like at least 10 more years. I mean, for fuck's sake, some people are still talking about Cyberpunk and how good it was. Like, seriously, was it? Like, deep down, I mean, I know how it feels that you, like, waited for years and years for a game. Like, for me, it's Star Citizen, and I'm still waiting on that game. But you gotta be honest. If you want things to change, you gotta be honest and you gotta speak out on the problems. And once you speak out, it's gonna be like a slap in the face for the gaming developers. Therefore, that will make them fix the games or just be better, and they're gonna deliver much more finished products than like we have right now. And that's basically the reason why I started this channel. Also, I need the money, of course. But like, one of the reasons is like, yeah, I just want to bring you the honest truth about like the games that I'm passionate about, and I am very passionate about Star Citizen. Is it good? No. Is it working? Well, is it an alpha? Well, is it a tech demo? Well, is it a business model? Well, yes, it is a business model. And to be honest, that needs to change. Most of the YouTubers that are talking about this game are talking about like how much Star Citizen or CAG made in the past year, and they're comparing that to previous years, etc., etc. And like, are we gonna see more money, or is this trend gonna continue in the next few years? And my question to them would be, why not concentrate on what we as a community of players actually got in the past few years? How much was promised and how much was delivered? And when you weigh that out, you're gonna see that like no money is gonna solve this problem, and more money is gonna make more problems, because like if they see that they're gonna make money whatever they do, they can just prolong the whole game even more, and they will never fucking finish it. And that's what happens with like EA and Battlefield. Like, they saw that like they can release Battlefield with a bad netcode where you could shoot a guy and like he's in front of you, he's standing in front of you, but you're not hitting him, and that like people still bought the game. And next game, it was the same thing, and people bought it. And next year, there was another shitty game-breaking bug, and people bought it. And they made money. And they continue making money off of people that are buying the shitty products. Why are we as a community, a Star Citizen community, doing the same thing? Why are we so trying to like turn the blind eye towards CAG and like, yeah, they're making something revolutionary, it's really hard. Well, is it? If it's really hard, fucking tell us. Just be straight with us, be honest with us, because honesty is going to take you to places that you never fucking dreamt of before. And that's what like the power of honesty is. In the end, at some point, Star Citizen is gonna become a beta. And are we still gonna like turn the blind eye when we see game-breaking bugs? When we see that like a ship that costs real money that people bought is not working, or is killing you, or just doesn't have a game mechanic for it? Are we still gonna like be there and be like supportive and say, well, yeah, that's actually, I mean, we get it. You probably just need more money, right? Just take our money and it's gonna solve everything. It's not. That's not how it works. They are doing all of this because it works. It works for them. They're making money. They're investing into other things. They're expanding, and we are just like supporting their expansion, basically. And where is the game, though? Where is the product? Where is the things that we got promised? Where are the things that people pledged for back in 2012? And some of them died. Some of those people that pledged for those ships, for that Javelin back in 2012, some of them died. And what about them? Is this really like the future of gaming? Is this what we dreamt of? Is this what we as a gaming community aspire to be? Just like whales or cows for milking? is that it? Are we gonna be happy with this? Because like Star Citizen could be a game that dies in a year after being released, just like any AAA title like Battlefield, or it could be a game that like is a full stop to the AAA cash grabbing titles such as Battlefield or Call of Duty or stuff like that. So the main question for you guys that are watching is, for how long are you gonna swallow this? For how long are you gonna stay silent and be like, yeah, I mean, I can see some progress. In a year we got, basically, we got a new HUD and we got capacitor gameplay or power triangle gameplay, and we're happy with that. Are we actually really happy with that? Are we happy that we like cried for years for them to fix trading, just for them to fix it, and like we are just so happy about it, even though they could have fixed it like years prior to the fix, and it was like a 20-minute fix. It wasn't like that hard to do. You just had to like go into an XML file and fix the figures, and that's it. But are we actually happy with this? Are we happy with being told over and over again that this game is the most revolutionary thing ever, even though it's not finished yet, but it is a pre-alpha of something that's gonna be revolutionary when it's finished? But like, why is it gonna be revolutionary? Because it has never been done before. But why hasn't it been done before? Because you can't do it, but they will do it. But when will they do it? Well, when they can. Well, do you see the problem with that? And I don't have a problem with it being unfinished. I don't have a problem with it for trying to give technology time to catch up with it. I don't have a problem with that. I have a problem with their communication with us. And that needs to change. We need to know what, when, and how, and like they need to stick to the plan. And they need to change those plans if the community tells them to, because we are their employers, because we have given them money, our money, to develop the product that we want. And then the community will be happy, but then they will probably lose some money. But at least they will like gain trust of millions of people. And we will be certain that they are developing a game that we actually all dreamt of. That is it for today, guys. Thank you for watching, and thank you for subscribing. And also, do not forget to bring a towel when you're traveling through space. And look at them yo-yos. That's the way you do it. You play the guitar on the MTV. That ain't working. That's the way you do it. Money for nothing and checks for free. Thank you, guys. Love you. Bye. Mwah.